In the meantime, we understand that the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has revealed an illegal connection line from one of its major oil export terminals into the sea that has been operating undetected for 9 years. The illegal connection is a 4-kilometer pipeline connection from the Forcados export terminal, which typically exports around 250,000 barrels per day of oil into the sea. Speaking at the bi-weekly news briefing on the operations of the armed forces in Abuja, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Danmadami, disclosed that troops sustained pressure and denied criminal elements freedom of action in the 2 weeks to ensure the provision of an environment conducive for economic activities to thrive. Now, News Central Correspondent Bernard Akede is on the ground in the Niger Delta. He now joins us for the complete story. Good evening to you, Bernard. The story of crude oil theft broke out early this month. It's not the first time we're hearing of crude oil theft, but what is different about this case?
Good evening, if you can hear me. It is clearly different. Like you mentioned earlier, 250,000 barrels of crude oil being stolen from the coffers or from Nigeria's reserve, from Nigeria generally, and pumped out into waiting vessels that will take them into international waters. Multiply 250,000 barrels by $100 each, and then you know that we're talking about millions, if not billions of dollars leaving Nigeria every day. And also what makes this different is the fact that this clearly just doesn't look like robbery or a criminal act. It looks like something that is really, really organized based on what we saw today. It's almost like what you see in the movies. It's a heist that's been going on there. And then to think that it's been happening for about 9 years, calculates how much of crude oil that Nigeria has been bleeding into the hands of criminals for the past 9 years, maybe beyond. But 9 years is the longest calculated period of time that the Nigerian security operatives have calculated it for. So yes, this is bigger than what we used to know. This is more serious. It clearly shows that whatever security infrastructure, whatever infrastructure may have been in place before is most likely outdated, and something bigger really needs to be done. This clearly is not the job of amateurs. It's not the job of simple people trying to burst the pipelines and siphon some crude oil. This clearly has the hands of some very, very well technically arranged engineering and siphons this crude oil and move them all the way several kilometers underground through pipes all the way to waiting vessels off the coast of the Niger Delta that eventually ships this oil abroad for little or nothing compared to what Nigeria would have made from the sale of crude oil.
Now, better, definitely not the work of amateurs, because we see a certain level of sophistication that is required to pull this off. What can you tell us about the location where this crime was discovered?
All right, I'll give you a brief example or this mental description of how we even got there. Now, from the airport to that location, it took us about 20 minutes to drive, and then we were on water for about 1 hour and 16 minutes to get to that community, of which after arriving in the community, we still had to drive on land and then get towards the seashore. But by the seashore, eventually we had to go through the creeks and into the bushes. Now, this is quite deep into the community. So it clearly shows you that there must have been some kind of conniving between community members who know the terrain and then some people who have sophisticated engineering facilities that can dig through into those places, gain access to the NNPC pipelines or to Nigerian pipelines, and then create their own, we like to call them joints or valves, so that when these pipes are being supplied or when crude oil is flowing through the pipes, they can also siphon in such locations. Of course, again, like I mentioned earlier, it clearly is really, really deep into the community. So the location is not something that anybody who does not know the terrain already will be able to find easily. It clearly was not easy for us to get there, definitely.
We've seen the rustiness of this pipeline. It means that it's been going on for quite some time. How did this go unnoticed by the authorities? You did hint in your last submission that, you know, there's no way the community or some higher-ups would not know about this.
Honestly, how the authorities were unable to notice this for the past 9 years, I think it's the million-dollar question here that everybody's asking. You know, the Niger Delta creeks have been a place of great concern since the early 2000s. For those who can remember the news, you probably remember images of young men carrying all sorts of sophisticated weapons, complaining about the government's negligence of the Niger Delta region. Still in those streets, you can still smell the crude oil in that area. But right now, that's not even the case. Now the case is the fact that things are going on, things have been going on, and they've been going on undetected. It really is a question that baffles everyone who saw what we saw today. Like you clearly mentioned, rusted pipelines that have been there for quite a while, eroding and corroding for a while, meaning that it's something that should have been noticed. But then again, the belief is there must have been, there probably may have been some kind of, inside, should I say, inside conniving maybe, because for things like this to be happening, or something like this to have been happening for that many years unnoticed, and then for people outside to gain access to these crude oils, to know where they are, to be able to connect and have this kind of sophisticated, let's say, operation, then the only suggestion would most likely be that there's some kind of inside information has been able to beat our security intelligence and to feed people outside with some kind of knowledge as to what to do and how to avoid security intelligence, most likely.
Now, Bernard, the crime has been discovered, the pipeline has been discovered, and the next question is this. Has anyone been held responsible for this grand theft? What are the authorities saying? Has anyone been apprehended in relation to this vast crime?
Winger, it's good you asked this question because I asked the same exact question this afternoon, and apparently what we heard was that for now, no one has been apprehended. Investigations are still ongoing for the fact that they were able to locate this particular one. And then I try to remind you that this is just one amongst many. Who knows how many more leakages there may be out there that is supplying external vessels with Nigeria's crude oil cheaper than what Nigeria would have been making if they were to sell this, if she were to sell this at the regular price. So sadly, no one has been apprehended to the best of our knowledge right now. All we're told is that investigation is ongoing. It's possible that some people may have been apprehended, but for security reasons, their names and the numbers have not been disclosed to the public just yet. But we clearly hope that at least some arrests, if have not been made, will be made pretty soon. Because like I said earlier, it looks like the job of definitely not a normal, but some kind of huge criminal cartel.
Thank you very much, Bernard Akede. A fast developing situation, and who knows, maybe there are more than one pipeline, like you suggested. We'll definitely keep our tabs and eyes on the situation in the Niger Delta. Thank you very much for your time.